Media Dialogues in 2022.
Welcome to Media Dialogues in 2022. I'm Anuradha SenGupta, and this is the show where we look at business and the world through the top-line lens. There are imminent changes in the way alcobev or alcoholic beverages can be retailed in some states. It's also possible now to send targeted marketing messages in social and digital media feeds. Most importantly, our lives are getting back to a pre-COVID-19 normal. So will the liquor industry close FY22 on a high? Will this high continue in the next financial year as well? And most importantly, what are some of the key new trends and opportunities that the marketplace is throwing up? Let's ask Hina Nagarajan, the Managing Director and CEO of Diageo India. That's the largest liquor company in the country with annual revenues in 2021 at over 7,800 crores. And with a diverse portfolio of brands, I'm picking just a few: Johnnie Walker, Black Dog, Tanqueray, Talisker, McDowell's No. 1, Signature, Royal Challenge and Smirnoff. Hina, thank you very much for joining us. It's lovely to have you on the show.
Thanks, Anuradha. Lovely to be here. Thanks for inviting me here.
First question and a quick check on this current quarter, Jan, Feb, March. Is there going to be any impact that the Omicron variant of COVID-19 on revenues, you think, or are you going to wait till March closes out to come to a conclusion?
We think that the recovery was pretty sharp and very rapid, actually, after the first COVID waves. And with the onset of the Omicron variant, while we've seen weekend closures, night curfews, and weddings and crowds are still not back to the size they used to be. However, we are seeing that recovery and normalization seems to be coming in quite quickly. And we've been able to manage the disruption with all the learning we've had so far. And I'm very proud of the way my team, with their passion and commitment, has managed this crisis. So we continue to feel very positive, confident on the momentum of our business. And, we think we will deliver, our quarter in line with our strategic guidance of double-digit growth. We are confident of the business momentum we see, and our top line is growing ahead of pre-pandemic levels.
One of the things that I've heard you talk about in the past year is how the strategy of premiumization that Diageo has adopted has really paid off or is working really well for you all. Give us a sense of why that's working and what is it in the consumer psyche and makeup at this point of time that makes that premiumization successful or effective?
So, Anuradha, premiumization has been happening in our industry for a few years, and we've also had focus on this. And what we've said now is that we are going to accelerate the momentum in context of our, newly declared mission to be a top-performing consumer products company in India, delivering sustained double-digit growth on the top line and long-term value to all our stakeholders. And one of the pillars of this strategy to deliver our mission is really to reshape our portfolio, to continue to shape our portfolio towards premiumization, really accelerating growth in luxury and premium, especially in Scotch, where we have a very powerful portfolio of the brands. Some of them, you called them out right now, Johnnie Walker, Talisker, right? We will also strengthen our play in upper prestige with highly differentiated offerings that speak to new consumer codes, right? And the consumer is really evolving and changing the codes. I mean, success has a different meaning today for the consumer, right? We're also looking at number one, which is, the world's largest whiskey by volume, right? We are looking to continue to invest in that, premiumize, and restage Royal Challenge whiskey to drive recruitment. And I think the phenomenon that's driving this is that, especially post-COVID, consumers have really, started looking to drink better and really choose high quality, trusted brands and really put their money behind that, have better experiences around them, better, experimentation. And they're drinking, they're doing repertoire drinking. So they are actually drinking multiple brands. And we've pivoted this strategy to really cater to these evolving consumer codes. This is now going to be an ongoing phenomenon for us. We will definitely look at launching, more brands from our global portfolio. We saw gin growing very fast in this.
And worldwide, I was reading that millennials and women millennials have sort of led this big resurgence of the demand for gin, isn't it? Is that being
Yes,
borne out in India as well?
it is absolutely. It's beginning to take off, very high double-digit growth in the category. And, we have brought in Tanqueray and Gordon's from our global portfolio to cater to this growth. And they're doing extremely well. I mean, we are finding definitely women, millennials, take gin as a drink, which is, a low, mid-tempo, casual get-together in the afternoon, for instance, or the early evening, right? And that is doing really well. I mean, Guinness is the other one, right? So we have found that premium beer is an opportunity in India. And, Diageo's iconic beer brand, Guinness, which is a dark beer, is also finding its place in India. So we've seeded it in 6-7 states. And we find the response is absolutely stunning.
There were some buzzwords that emerged in the last couple of years. I mean, these words have been around, but, they seem to have got prominence. So craft across liquor categories is something that I'm hearing a lot about as a consumer. Is this restricted to a really small niche segment of the consumers at the cutting edge, or is this something that will be relevant in terms of revenues for a company like Diageo? Because even you all have done a few launches in the craft category.
Yeah, so I mean, craft by its very nature is, something that is defined by, scarcity and rarity, right? And really the nature of the product is it's small quantities, very beautifully crafted by the creator with, unique ingredients, really special, really unique experience. So irrespective of which category it is, whether it's whiskey or, gin or any other liquor category, I think craft is really something that I would say, especially the millennials are driving, right? And this whole phenomenon of experientials and experimentation that has got, sort of accelerated during COVID, right, has really made craft, I think, something that will be a sustainable trend going forward, right? And we saw this, and we actually reacted quite fast to the phenomenon. I mean, we were seeing craft in beer for quite a few years, but I think it's relatively, more new in the spirits category. So we pivoted quite fast. My team here in Diageo India actually created a craft offering, and that's what you were referring to, Epitome Reserve.
Yes.
We launched that in August last year, and then, from sort of start to finish, it was launched in about 85 days, right? And that speaks to the agility we are trying to create in our organization.
The craft category across categories tends to be associated with small-scale production, individual owners, and a boutique perception. So when Diageo forays into the craft category, like you have with some of your recent launches, does that sort of gel?
I think the definition of craft is more about the liquid and its special, unique character rather than who makes it, right? Okay. So, I mean, it is just a factual thing that, craft came in by the smaller, owners first. But I mean, Diageo has craft brands across the world. And we have the ability. We've actually, really improved our liquid and technical capability over the last couple of years. And we are in a position to be able to launch craft as well.
Tell us a little bit about cocktails. I was reading the other day, ready to drink is something that a lot of spirit and liquor brands are looking at. Is that something that's relevant to Diageo as well?
So, I mean, cocktails has been something that has really taken off in the country. And I would say this is especially during COVID, right? Because when people started drinking more in home and they had time on hand, I think the digital, engagement and really seeking for, looking for ideas to, kind of experiment, experience, drinking better at home really led to a phenomenon where they were searching for cocktail ideas. And actually, we started a lot of digital engagement with consumers during this period, giving them these cocktail ideas, etc. And I mean, ready to drink is just a cocktail in a can in that sense, right? Yeah. So ready to drink is something that has taken off, in the rest of the world. I would say globally, I think you're reading, about RTDs, hard seltzer has taken off. These trends are quite niche still in India, right? So like I said, one of the pivots we've made in our strategy is to look at not only trends present forward, but also looking at trends future back. And we have, on our watch list, global trends that may or may not, gain traction in India eventually. And, ready to drink hard seltzers is an area which we will be watching. And at the moment, we don't think it's a big area for us, but it could gain traction going forward. And if it does, then we will certainly be ready to participate in that.
India is such a unique country. You have some states that have prohibition. You have some states which, where it's just so easy to access liquor. Where are you seeing women and the growing demographic of women consumers? Because that is a trend anecdotally we seem to encounter. And it's not just that women were drinking wine or beer, but they are moving to harder liquor. So do you see that bear out? And what are some of the top line headlines that you can give us on this category? Because there's still some amount of social taboo, isn't it, associated with drinking in this country. And when I say some amount, I'm talking only of a certain segment. In some places, it's totally taboo.
So, I mean, overall, I would say that, like many countries in the Western world, right, India too is seeing women per se emerge as key drivers of social and cultural transformation, right? Yeah. So really moving our society, which was traditionally highly stratified, becoming more inclusive, more equal, right? And we've definitely seen the narrative of women and alcohol change slowly but surely, right? And personally, I mean, being a woman CEO of an alcohol company, that really gives me the opportunity to role model and drive, further normalization, which we think will happen, right, over a period of time. We see that. And, for us, I think just to continue to drive the normalization, right, we are gearing up. We see this cohort being a very significant consumer group for us, going forward. Our innovation organization, right, ensures we have women and their needs well represented. I mean, 43% of our women employees in R&D and innovation are women, right? The lead liquid developers for gin, vodka, etc., and the brand managers for these categories are women. The co-lead of our craft business in India is a woman. 50% of our packaging developers in R&D are women. Right, we are seeing the retail, environment really transform in India thanks to positive policy developments like Delhi. The route to market change is really going to change the way the stores look, right, and the shoppability in those stores. And that, I think, will also encourage women to go out. The development of online channels is something that will encourage women to shop more, for alcohol. And we personally, I have a passion for, progressive portrayal, inclusion, and diversity. Yeah. And we as a company are really, wanting to drive progressive portrayal in every piece of creative work we put out, right, for all our focus brands. So moving away from, hackneyed, stereotypical representations, portraying real people, real consumers, and all our iconic brands. I mean, whether you take Johnny Walker, Black and White, Black Dog, even McDowell's #1 signature, you will see that they all have women at the heart of, the communication work. We, not just that, I mean, our content on social media, influencer programs, they are being led by women and members of, the gender spectrum. So we are working very hard to drive the inclusion narrative and really drive further normalization. And I have to tell you, Anuradha, that when I was announced as the CEO of an alcohol company, I was coming in from the UK and I was, not worried, I would say, but I was wondering what the reaction would be. And I have to tell you, it was 100% positive. I mean, LinkedIn, social media, wherever I saw comments, it was like phenomenal to see how positive people felt about, a woman taking over alcohol and the comments that were there about the normalization.
Some states are already doing home deliveries. Delhi has just announced it or started it actually. In Maharashtra, groceries of a certain size can start retailing wine to begin with, is what we've hearing. How much will this change the way, Diageo and companies in this industry access the market? What are the changes? Because, you keep referring to Diageo as a consumer products company, which it is, but somehow we tend to see it as a liquor company. And there is a perception shift there, isn't it? How much will these changes on the retail front, home delivery, apps on which you can order alcohol, how much will all of this change and help the business?
So home delivery was an unlock that came during the pandemic. It was one of the positive fallouts, I would say, of the pandemic. And we are very excited about the potential of this channel, right? Now, it's at a very nascent stage today. And I spent 3 years in China, and that was the hub of all digital and e-commerce development, right? So, and I know that, these models take a long time to develop. They take many years, and then they reach a tipping point, and then, they become quite big, right? So, for instance, right now, it's quite nascent. It's in 6, 7 states, quite nascent. In a state like West Bengal, we are seeing about 3-4% of our sales, come through home delivery. In terms of impact, I think it can have a very large impact. I think it can, tackle some of the problems we see in the industry, like, counterfeit liquor. It can help curb underage consumption because you have age gating. It can prevent crowding at retail shops. It can create a better environment, for women consumers.
Hina, we saw that crowding. I still remember all those images when liquor shops opened briefly in Mumbai only to be shut down because of the crowds. And there was this whole debate of whether this is essential or not, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it can also benefit, licensed retailers who do lose even today business to illicit sellers, right? And so it will become a high potential channel for revenue growth. It can actually add more to the excise kitty of the government. And so I think we firmly believe in its potential. We are continuing to work with retailers, regulators, delivery platforms, and the government to determine, what is the best model? How will it evolve in the space? And we will look to participate in this opportunity. We think it can be a future game changer.
The other thing I want you to talk a little bit more about is digital marketing, because we are in a country where mass media is not allowed to advertise liquor. And today you have social media, you have digital media platforms where you can do targeted communication. Is it, I mean, India is a country which has seen the rise of surrogate advertising, this whole concept of surrogate advertising as a result of the regulatory framework. Do you think it's time to relook this, given that digital and social media marketing is allowing liquor advertising and communication out there?
We've been focusing on digital experiences even before COVID, but we accelerated that during COVID. And for us, it was a great way of engaging with consumers, even our customers and partners, actually. And it is particularly significant for, the premium and luxury categories as we dial up our premiumization, right? So building on this, Anuradha, I'm very pleased to say that we've just launched our digital platform. It's called in.thebar.com. And this is a place where our consumers can engage with our beautiful brand homes. They can explore the latest lifestyle trends, food pairing ideas, cocktail ideas, celebration ideas, gifting ideas. And, we are currently obviously only going to use it to host, content and build communities, right? Because we are not really allowed to do e-commerce and direct to consumer through this. But over a period of time, we think that this will be significant in terms of, engagement with the consumer.
So are you saying...
And on your point about,
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, sorry. So I was just addressing your point about extensions. Look, first of all, our digital engagement, we govern ourselves very rigorously on, we do very rigorous self-regulation. We have multiple policies, which determine our activities. We have the Diageo marketing code, we have the digital code. And, Diageo is also part of the International Alliance for Responsible Drinking. So every bit of our marketing engagement work is put through, gating to ensure we have age gating, we have the right disclaimers, and we are following every single guideline, right? And as far as brand extensions are concerned, we strictly adhere to, ASCII guidelines. ASCII has guidelines on extensions, and we strictly adhere to them on, revenue, distribution, and investment to ensure we are fully compliant. So, I mean, digital as a way of engaging with the consumer is only going to grow stronger. And, we have regulatory frameworks that we follow very stringently to ensure that, we are fully compliant and we are actually, promoting our responsible drinking in every single way, no matter which channel.
I mean, given that digital has overtaken print and TV, in terms of spends in the past year, do you see mass media rules change going forward at some point? Is it time to change, or it doesn't matter anymore to companies like Diageo because of the new medium that's available?
So I would say, Anuradha, we continue to work with the governments to, talk about the mass media advertising. And I mean, it is something that we will continue to advocate for. I think
As
both have a
industry
role to
body
play,
also,
right?
yeah.
I don't see mass media going away, right, as in its importance. And, we will continue to work through with the policy, framework people to, promote a win-win situation and see where we reach on that. And, digital will continue in the meantime. So, but I'm hopeful that, one day with more normalization, with, us working very responsibly with the governments, that we will be able to find a balance.
Right. Final question, Hina. How much has things changed for your industry and in Diageo as a result of this unusual, exceptional experience of the COVID-19 pandemic? Because a lot of industries, there's been a before and after kind of feeling in terms of what is the old normal and the new normal. What would you say has been the biggest change or changes where the Alcobev industry is concerned?
Let me take this question as an internal for us as a company and external in terms of, say, the consumer environment,
yes.
Right? So, and internally, if I look at it, I think we have strengthened our culture, right? We are already a very powerful culture, right? People are very passionate about our purpose and brands. And I think that has only strengthened during the pandemic, and we are coming out much stronger as we, come out of the pandemic. Our speed and agility has gone up tremendously. I mean, we've had to do so much on the go. Our people have learned, and I'm really proud of the way the team has coped with the pandemic. So we are a far more agile and speedy company today. Our decision making has become much faster. We're able to do things much faster, and we have a much more strengthened culture in place, right? So it's been pretty positive, net for us coming out. We do think we've emerged stronger, right? On the external environment, I would say there have been some trends that have really amplified during COVID, and I think they are here to stay, right? Home becoming the new frontier of consumption. People were mostly socializing outside. I think now the experimentation at home, drinking and normalization at home is, much more, and I think it's going to stay. I think, boom towns, we've seen that, growth is fast tracking, and the aspirational levels, the experimentation in, the smaller towns, right? So not the mega cities, but the smaller towns, Agra, Nagpur, Vijayawada, these have now become, another place for growth, right? Millennials are driving a lot of, new categories. So there are new opportunities for growth for us. I think I mentioned that, more digital engagement. Our consumers have really started living in a phygital world. And actually that is all thanks to COVID, I would say, right? So the physical world and the digital world have sort of come together, and the omni-channel world, the opening up of home delivery is again a trend that is here to stay and a great unlock for our industry as we go along. So I would say that while the 2 years that we were dealing with the COVID pandemic have been hugely disruptive and very challenging for our industry, actually it has created some very positive
long-term growth prospects.
And really high potential areas. And I think I feel very personally very confident that with our strategy, we are tapping into these trends that have opened, and that, we are going to be able to deliver our guidance of, double-digit top-line growth and be one of the top-performing CPGs in India.
Well, Hina, I wish you best of luck. I think I should say cheers to that. Thank you for joining us on Media Dialogues.
Thanks so much, Anuradha. Lovely to be here.